You might not believe it, Jim, but you're an internet legend. May die, but you'll never be forgotten. Best wishes to you and yours. Merry Christmas from Joro. Can you tell us what your Can you tell us what were your early symptoms? Thank you. You wanna medically diagnose me? I don't give a shit. I'll walk you through it. Oh, Joro, buckle up. You're gonna love this. Let me walk you through. I've even got a fucking list here from the last time I had to go in to see the neurologist. Let me walk you through my early symptom. Let me just walk you through the timeline progression of shit. So maybe you could figure out what parasite this might be. So I had a biopsy done on a tumor on my head, the back of my head. And they came back with B-cell lymphoma. So then they went to do the staging for it, which is imaging like a PET scan. They did blood work. And that came back, and they found that there was a benign growth on the pituitary. They also found out that my thyroid lit up, so they did more testing, and then diagnosed that as Hashimoto's. And at the time, they said that's not entirely unexpected. People that get cancer sometimes get autoimmune diseases. It happens. The Hashimoto's isn't running crazy at the moment, so we should be able to control it, and we'll deal with the cancer. All right, everything sounds great. We're gonna do a workup for the cancer, but we need to do a few more testing. We'll do a bone marrow biopsy, and they did that, came back okay. So they're like, okay, well, we're gonna send you down to oncologist, radiologist, whatever the fuck it is, and talk about how we're gonna approach it. So that's like the first month or two, and everything is kind of progressing okayish, and then everything starts going tits up. Suddenly I go hypertensive, like massively fucking hypertensive. So I had normal blood pressure, and suddenly it's like 140 over 90, and it's solidly there. And at first the doctor's like, oh, well, this might be like what do they call it? White coat syndrome, white lab coat syndrome. Because you're in and out of the hospital, you're anxious. Because of the cancer shit, you're anxious, so it's going to make your blood pressure rise. But it stayed consistently there. So then they're starting to debate, do we want to put them on, some kind of like blood pressure medicine? This is all going on in the background. Then, out of nowhere, total loss of fucking appetite. And I must have lost between 40 to 50 pounds. And it just dropped off. And it wasn't even like not wanting to eat. It was like there was no signal telling me I need to eat. It was like my appetite is like, I don't need to eat anymore. I had to be fucking reminded. So I'm looking at like shit like Pediasure and like these different protein shakes because I was like, I've got to do something because this is fucking crazy. Then I start having like these just horrific fucking pains, kind of up by the diaphragm, right? Drop me down to my knees. Some of the worst pain I've ever experienced. First time it happened was like 10 minutes long. And I thought, is this something like some weird kind of, is this some kind of weird fucking, uh, I don't know, like stomach acid thing, or I didn't know what the fuck it was, but it went away. So I figured, okay, maybe it's related to like the loss of appetite. We're talking to a gastroenterologist, figure out what the fuck it is. Then it happens again, except this time it doesn't go away. So I end up going to the hospital, and they do imaging tests, and the pancreas is swollen. They check the lipase levels, and it's supposed to, I think on like their scale, it's like between 100 and 300 is normal, and it's like 18,000. And so he's like, the ER doctor's like, you're having an acute pancreatic attack. This is going to take a while to go away. We're going to have to hospitalize you. You'll be here for maybe a week or two, maybe 3. As he's explaining this, after they do, I'm there for like an hour. The pain just stops, goes away completely. So I'm like, I didn't want to stay. I was like, well, if it stopped, I'm fucking out of here. Like, I don't want to be in the hot. This is right at, all this COVID shit's going on. I don't want to be in the middle of the hospital and like at ground zero for that shit. The ER doctor got angry about that. Whatever. Went to my primary the next day. They reran the lipase, and it was completely. It was on the low end of normal. So it went from 18,000, this fucking ridiculous high number, down to nothing. So things started kind of getting weird from that point on. It was around this point that the doctors started getting concerned. There was some weird shit happening. Because I had like this jaw pain that started extending up into my ear. Then I started losing hearing. Got tinnitus. The pain extended up into my eye. I lost control of my eye. You have 4 different muscle groupings that control your eyeball, right? And it was like somebody cut them all. The eyeball is just free floating. This one day I look in the mirror, my eyeball is just floating everywhere. Pupil's not dilating correctly. It's doing the opposite of what it should be doing. go into the ER, and he said, "Oh, this, we don't know what's going on." What did he call it? He said, "This might be outer ocular palsy," is what he said. And I said, "Well, am I having a fucking stroke? Is this like, am I going to go retarded? Is this the start of a stroke?" Well, no, having a stroke that only affects the eye would be, that's just so that I've never heard of that before. And it's like, well, I haven't heard of 30-year-olds getting fucking lymphoma, right? That's rare to begin with. So how do we make sure I'm not having a fucking retard stroke? So he's like, "Oh, we'll do, I think they did a CTA or an MRA or some fucking thing like that." And then he comes back and he's like, "Okay, well, maybe it's not outer ocular palsy. Your vertebral artery is dissected and you've got a pseudoaneurysm on the right side. And also another dissection on the left side in your neck. And so this could be a transischemic attack. You might have had a mini stroke." Oh, okay. Well, what do I do? Well, you take a baby aspirin. Okay, doc. So I take the baby aspirin. The eye thing eventually does resolve. I get control over it again. Weirdly enough, the hypertension goes away, which makes no sense because aspirin shouldn't have a fucking effect on it. So, I mean, like, you know, all this is kind of going on. Then right after that, I lose more of my hearing, and I'm going into the ENT repeatedly. And they're doing like they've got like this diagram where they check the fucking hearing. It's around this time that I'm doing internal medicine up at Mayo. So they're sending me around to all the specialists. The gastroenterologist is up there, and he says it's not an acute pancreatic attack. Whatever this is something that mimics that, but I guarantee you it's not. I see the hearing guy, and he's like, "Well, it could be, what the fuck did he, labyrinthitis in your ear, autoimmune labyrinthitis, or autoimmune inner ear disease." They checked a different, like antibody shit for Cogan's. They didn't think it was Meniere's because I didn't have any of the vertigo. So I'm getting this big workup. They're doing all this shit. They come back to me and they say, "Well, we don't really know what's going on. We're looking at your IG levels and they're all fucked up. We're looking at T cell stuff and it's all fucked up. They check me for JAK2 mutation. They don't understand it. So, they want to put me in something called Diagnostic Odyssey and genomics and have me genetically tested to try to figure out what's going on. Okay. Oh, fine. Um, then, it just keeps progressing. Then I start losing sensation in my legs. It's on each side of the legs all the way into the feet. So they're like, well, I mean, we put them on prednisone. Is this prednisone related neuropathy? So they start checking for like diabetes and other stuff. Everything's coming back fine. The guy that does the fucking the nerve conductivity test, whatever the fuck it's called, where they stick the little thing in you and check the nerve in the body, comes back and says, "Oh, this is weird. Were you beaten?" The guy asked me, "Were you like in a fight or something? Why are you asking me that?" Well, we do this test to see if it, like, if the pattern or some shit, matches up with a disease we might think it is, and we're showing there's dysfunction, but it's like the dysfunction we're seeing doesn't really. It's weird. He actually told me we think the machine might be broken because it's weird. It shouldn't be acting like this. Okay, well that's fucking great. It's always good to hear they're having weird fucking results. Then on top of that, start getting skin infections, like staph infections, which makes no sense. Hypertension comes back, only now it's 150 over 100. So they put me on blood pressure shit. Losing more sensation as different nerves are starting to get fucked up in the body. Um, and it goes on and on. Then there's a growth in my throat. I have to go into the ENT. So, that's where I'm at. So it's one thing after another. It's one more thing after another. It's go see a fucking specialist, come up with a game plan. They don't know what the fuck it is. Go see another specialist. They do all these specialized blood tests. What was it this chick said? I'll read you the exact fucking thing. Oh, exactly what she said. The condition that I would recommend assessing through immunology is CD T cell receptor complex disorders causing immunodeficiency MHC1 or MHC class 1 deficiencies. Well, what does that mean? And then she's like, well, it's something like bare lymphocyte. All right. And then the neurologist is like, well, we should test you for something called, oh my God, small fiber neuropathy. So we need to do a biopsy. And then another guy's like, well, we need to check your spine because we've noticed a weird kind of shit going on in your spine, some kind of growth. So we want to take a look. So I've got all this fucking growth shit going on, and the ENT's looking at the throat, and they're like, well, we don't think that's cancer. We think that's that maybe that's a cyst or something. Maybe we want to biopsy that. We don't know. So they all want to cut me up and take samples. So you're asking, can you tell me? Can you tell me my symptoms? All I know is The moment I had that biopsy, and I'm not placing it on the doctor, the guy that did it, the dermatologist or whatever, that did it was a great doctor. Like, fantastic job. Did a fucking bang up job. But the moment they cut that fucking tumor out, my body went apeshit. And I don't know why, and I don't know what it relates to. I think that's why they wanted to test perineoplasty syndrome. So they're all throwing shit out there. Everybody's throwing shit out there. All these specialists want to do all these specialized tests because they've all got to, like, what is it? What's going on? Your IG levels are all fucked up. We don't understand it. IgG subclass. You know, another thing I fucking loved was dealing with hematology and everybody, because you try to like track down a disease, and he's like, well, if it was IG subclass 1 and 3 or subclass 2 and 4, we can match that up with stuff. But your IgG level specifically, it's subclass 2 and 3 that's completely fucked, and IgM is completely fucked. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just, it's the never ending fucking, it's just never ending. So I'm sorry. Now I'm going on a tirade. There you go, though, bro. There you go, there, bro. So you can, I don't know. There you go. Let me crowdsource a diagnosis. Any geniuses out there want to take a crack at it? There you go. That's the basic progression, give or take a few things. Somebody in chat, V is a doctor. Oh yeah, that would be ironic if V comes in to save me. Here comes V to save the day. One of the problems, Joe Rowe, that I run into is you set up, you get something diagnosed and everything's set to go. And you got to remember too, a lot of this is going on during COVID. So you get everything set up to go, and then something new pops up. But to get into a specialist is like 3 months out. So one thing gets fucked up, you're waiting for a specialist. You get into the specialist. By the time you're about to see them, something else gets fucked up. So you come up with a treatment plan for the one or two things that are fucked up, and something else comes up. So you go to see other, it's just it's this fucking cat and mouse game. You're running in and out, trying to get shit set up. Stuff's closed down, and then it's opened back up. Some of the stuff is crazy, like trying to get this fucking small fiber neuropathy biopsy, this hole punch shit where they hit you 3 times. Like, one of the guys was like, "Oh, we're a year out for us to do that." Okay, well, can I get a referral to somebody that's not a year out to do that? Well, then I find somebody else and they're like, "Well, we could probably do it in 4 months." Okay. And then, the perineoplasty thing, they want to put me on rituximab, but then the hematologist is like, no, if we're testing for perineoplasty and you're on rituximab, it could fuck the results up. So you need to get the test done before we can put you on that and take you, start tapering you down off the prednisone. So, like I said, it's this big juggling act. I think it's probably the most frustrating thing about it. So I'm ranting now. There you go. So crowdsource me my diagnosis, chat. Somebody get V on the line and have him come in. V is gonna save the day. I'm gonna have him show up in his fursuit, and he's gonna diagnose that shit. Oh, there we go. Somebody in chat, acute ligma. It's very good to know. It's good to know that I've got acute ligma. It's a tick bite. It's the world's worst tick bite. If only I had known. Of course, it's the tick bite. And in Minnesota, of course, I should have thought of it. Why didn't I think of it? It's the gas, Jim. Yellow fever got me. True. Very true. Somebody in chat, I took the vax and now I'm ranting. I haven't taken the vax. I'm sorry to disappoint you. I haven't done that, and I haven't had COVID, so it wouldn't be long COVID either. Oh, we've gone over all the possibilities with all the doctors. It's been quite a lot of fun. It's gout. Dark Side Phil finally got his revenge. Jim, Jim, you've got gout. Dark Side Phil came in from the top ropes. You remember all those jokes you made about gout, Jim? Well, now Dark Side Phil is coming to take his revenge. Not laughing anymore, are we, Jim? Thought it was so funny, didn't you? Oh yeah, somebody chat. I'm gonna need to ask Kraut for his help from his academics, his YouTube academics. I need V's medical expertise and Kraut's YouTube academics to figure this mystery out. A hysterical pregnancy? That's a good one. I'll ask that the next time I go in. Doctor, Doctor, could this be hysterical pregnancy? Could this be, I'm thinking about the baby, doctor. Doctor, is it possible this is a hysterical pregnancy, doctor? Please. Please, could you check the baby? I don't want it to, it's so cold in the winter. I don't want it to freeze to death. I feel its little legs kicking. Oh, okay. Yeah, somebody send that, clip that and send it to V and ask him to diagnose me. I want V to diagnose. I want to know what I got, V. Yeah, I want that Romanian. He's Romanian, right? I want that Romanian medical expertise. Was he Romanian? Fuck, I'm pretty sure he is. Something. Yugoslavian? Whatever V is. I want that expertise, V. I need you. You need to save me, V. It's time to save me. I'm calling in the favor. Green olive poisoning? There we go. Jim, you were bitten by a tick while eating green olives and having a hysterical pregnancy, and the confluence of these three things coming together have severely damaged you. It's severely damaged you. You're so fucked, buddy. You're so fucked. Yeah, somebody get on the phone. Get V immediately. I need that medical expertise. He's the only one. From Ed E. DSP will outlive us all. 427 Arbach. Carnivore.